And welcome to another episode of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing, and the top class action just keeps on coming on PGR, and we'll give you hopefully plenty of insight and a winner or two here on Off the Leash. We're of course on the Racing Post YouTube channel. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Do get involved, and if you're watching us on Facebook, get involved also with a comment below. As ever, Tony Bullen, open race correspondent at the Racing Post, joins us. Tony, it is beginning to hot up. We've got two big finals to look forward to. Two massive competitions kicked off last week as well. It's all happening.
Yeah, it certainly is. We've had the sprinters in recent weeks. We've got the stayers. We've got the four bends. It's everything. The kitchen sink's been thrown at the sport at the moment. And as I say, I always say it, bring it on, because some class acts are clashing.
There is four bends, six bends, south coast, north east. It's all happening. What's coming up in this week's show? Well, we'll start with the biggest competition of them all, the Premier Greyhound Racing Regency, on at the moment. £20,000 to win up, the very best stayers in training on show there. So we'll tackle the semi-finals of that, the semi-finals of the Sussex Cup, both on Saturday night at Hove, of course, live on PGR. Thursday night, two big finals also on PGR. We've got the Arena Racing Company, Asian of the North, £7,500, the winner. And of course, the big one, the Time Northern Flat, £12,500 to the winner there. So two massive nights this week, two big finals on Thursday night at Newcastle, and two big competitions at the semi-final stage on Saturday night down at Hove. And of course, we'll bring you the best bets after that. Hopefully, we'll improve a little bit on last week. A little bit wide of the mark myself with Chelm's Bear. And Tony, you was with Jack Tavern Chief, was you? Or was that the week before?
No, that was last week, I think.
Improvement required, we'll say. Hopefully we can dig out a winner or two along the way, as well as the naps. Let's jump straight into it then. 36 became 18. 6 first-round heats on Saturday night down at Hove. 3 semi-finals on Saturday night. Let's jump straight into the semi-finals. As ever, first out the boxes with the prices, Labricks and Corals. This is semi-final number 1 at Hove, the 6.59. Garfinny Blaze back to winning ways after getting turned over at 1-12. At Sheffield. He's going to be odds on, he's well drawn in semi-final number 1, 8-13. Our Smasher, a pony, 25-1. Border Parachute, 7-2. Lily's Bullet, 12s. Droopy's Invent, 14s. New in Cloud with a brilliant draw. The only seeded dog, the middle, at 9-2. I mentioned Garfinny Blaze, Tony. Let's have a look at him getting back to winning ways. Obviously, winning form over the 6 bends at Hove. He won over the 740, the George Curtis, Bannerigan Bob Memorial final last year. Twice as a Harriet's champion. Forget what happened at Sheffield. Back to winning ways last week.
Yeah, he has had a couple of bad days at the office, in fairness, the Garfinny Blaze dog. But yeah, it was back to his best here. Standard setting victory, 41-45. Burrows Eclipse set the target for the others to aim at. But once he gets an uninterrupted passage, the Garfinny Blaze dog, he is classy. We've seen what he can do. He's proven at the highest level. He's got the trophies in the cabinet. So it was good to see him back to his best, because you want to see the cream meeting the cream, Dave. And although it was the first round was a bit lopsided with a few very, very short ones, now it's the business end of the competition. But yeah, good all-round performance from Garfinny Blaze.
Yes, the Guardian, of course, kept all the MWD Mark Wallace big guns apart. That won't be the case in the semi-final. Garfinny Blaze, I think I mentioned this on last week's show. I spoke to the champion trainer Mark Wallace, and obviously they had him over 8 bends early doors and he didn't really get home, but he looks like a dog that wants a trip now.
Yeah, he's not showing as much urgency
No.
in the early part of his races. So dogs do, as they mature and get older, they can change their style a little bit and stay on a little bit stronger.
Nice draw tucked around the inside. Is that going to be 2 votes for Garfinny Blaze?
Yeah, I mean, Our Smasher on the immediate outside shouldn't be a worry. Lily's Bullet's got no early. 5's going to edge to the rails, but just with a clear run, he's the fastest dog in the race.
Yeah, you wouldn't bet against Mark Wallace 1-2 there, because New in Cloud's got a hell of a draw with Droopy's Invent diving inside. Right, let's move to semi-final number 2 then. This will be the 7.16 on Saturday night. Annabella on the inside, 8-1. Brett and Molly 8s. Art Riddler 12-1. Then the 2 big guns, Romeo Empire 6-4, Vigar 5-4. All right, Goldie 12-1. We're going to look at Romeo Empire, who goes marching on here, Tony, still unbeaten over 6 bends. Had been impressing in trial stakes and impressed in the first round. 41.56, beaten Sole Choice in 1. Rules for some in 3. The right was on the wall, a long way out here.
Yeah, he's not really been tested, this dog, has he, Dave, since he stepped up in distance. It's like he's just got to the front. He feels like he's in solo trials, the dog. I mean, he's certainly made a smooth transition to the staying scene. And he's got it all. He's got the early, he's got the middle, and he clearly sees out the trip well enough. I think this is probably his toughest test to date, in fairness. But you can't knock the dog for what he's done. He's beating what's put down in front of him and doing it in style.
Yeah, well, it's fair to say he's going to be asked a question or two here because the Bitchin 5 Agara is the favourite on the early prices. She is a class act. It feels like we've not really seen too much of her over sixpence. She's been on and off the card. But when she does it right at the boxes, she looks a real handful. What a race we've got set up here. They're side by side. They're probably going to be side by side going into the corner. How do you see it going?
Yeah, I mean, with a pair of them, they've answered every question put to them in their short career over six bends. I just favour Vagar. I feel the Romeo Empire dog, he's a bit further off the rails, and I know 1 and 2 are not renowned for blasting out the boxes, but they can come away, and it's not a longish run to the turn. I just thought Vagar, again, she looks like she's got it all, and I just think if she can get first run, I think she'll hold the upper hand, Dave.
Yeah, we're going to be head-to-head here because I'm going to go with Romeo Empire. I think he's just, if he's not broke, don't fix it. And maybe he can just about lead into the corner. One that might go at a price here, Tuano Bella, was a price-wise pick of mine in the Racing Post. Now, we'll see him in a moment getting picked up by Mongi's Wild, who we know is a champion, is the Antipost favourite. But I thought she run really well, Tuano Bella. You know, she had to battle to the front. And even after the line, you know, she didn't exactly down tall. She looks in good nick.
Yeah, she does. She arrived in decent nick. She'd been running well in success and defeat at Central Park. So yeah, she seems like one of those bitches that always gives 100%.
Yeah, well, I'm going with Romeo Empire. Tony going with a guy. Let's hope we can scrape the red through somehow. One of those big guns will have to go out for her to get into the final. But fingers crossed. Right, semi-final number 3, 7:33. Sole choice 20-1. Rules for some 20-1. The monster anti-post favourite Mongi's Wild at 3 on. Ivy Hill Cherry, who was a winner of the first round, 10s. Bombay Nutty, another one for Mark Wallace, 5s. Burrows Eclipse, 8s. Let's look at Mongi's Wild. And in trap 3, 41.71. Tuanabella in the red. Droopy's Event in the 2. We knew he was going to have to bide his time, but he's just got a massive engine, this dog, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, no, there's no frills or spills with him as the trap's open. If anything, you think, well, he looks laboured for the initial strides, but dogs, look at his CV, Dave. One defeat came at Monmore. He's won the TV trophies, won the jacket. Okay, the time wasn't necessarily there on Saturday, but you don't need to be doing the time in the first round. It's the final that counts, and we know how quick this dog can go. He's 41, 20, 30 running him all day long, and I just think that he remains the one to beat. Even though it's getting down to the proper business end, like you nothing straightforward in going forward here. But I just think, again, with a run, with an uninterrupted passage, if he doesn't get held up, that serious engine that he's got, he just adds another win to his tally.
He won't be for everyone at 3 on. Have you got a forecast for us here?
To be truthful, I think 6 will lead out wide, but I think the Bombay Nutty dog, I think he'll probably outstay 6. I think he can keep tabs with 6. 3 will probably loom large in the second half and start the edge of clear, but I think the Bombay Nutty dog could be a stranglehold for the MWD partnership even more.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could have half the field or more in the final, couldn't they, easily? So we're looking forward to see Mongi's Wild in action then. Hopefully, you know, we want to see the best dogs in the final, so hopefully he can go marching on. So 2 votes for Mongi's Wild, obviously, and Tony going with Bombay Nutty for the forecast there. 3 to beat 5. Right, Sussex Cup kicks off as well on Saturday night. Let's tackle the 3 semi-finals for that one then. And Proper Heiress, another one for, you guessed it, Mark Wallace, favourite in the opening semi-final. King Memphis 7-2, Proper Heiress 8-13, Chelm's Bet 8, Mossrich Kylie, who was a first round winner, 25-1. No Better Feeling 20s. Romeo Tomcat, who's 9-2, which is a mad price. I think he won the Derby Plate, didn't he? Tells you how good this race is. This one could have been the final, Tony. It features the anti-pace favourite, Proper Era, so we'll have a look at here, was fastest, naturally, in the first round. Trap 3, 29.69, beating Missile 1 in 1 and Razzle Dazzle Barkley in 2. He just oozes class, doesn't he? He just showed a little bit of late early pace, led, he's massive down the back, and it was race over.
Yeah, he had that real purple patch, didn't he? He won the Olympic, he won the Plate, won the Winter Derby. He was just in conquering form, won the Juvenile, and then he might have just been burnt out, gone over the top in the Derby. He didn't go too far in the Derby, but he's had that spell on the sidelines. The sprint trials suggested he was ready to rock and roll, and he just confirmed how much he loves Hove. Again, another dog that's got it all. When he's in front, he don't get beat, Dave, because he stays well. He's got the middle pace. All right, this is a very, very tough assignment, but if he does what he did last weekend, he wins.
Yeah, and what's quite ominous for the opposition, not just this dog, but all of Mark Wallace's team, is traditionally his dogs will improve throughout a competition. You never see them doing massive runs and then tailing off in a competition. They improve throughout. This looks like a dog that's going to come on for that run to me. You mentioned that purple patch when we saw him. I think he was in track 4 every race when he just exploded out the boxes and was gone. I think we're going to see that again here. But a word on King Memphis. Good to see him back on the track. We didn't expect him to be, firing on all cylinders first go over 4 bends for a while. But it'd be nice to see him come away and make a race of it, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, they went head to head in the event at Central Park. Make no mistake, he's one of the fastest dogs in the country, King Memphis, and he'll have blown away a majority of the cobwebs. You can't beat race fitness, Dave, and one thing that run would have brought him on a bundle, but it just depends how Proper Ares comes away. If Proper Ares gets the drop on them, I know that I'm a fan of King Memphis, but I can't see any other result than Proper Ares if beating King Memphis to the punch.
Indeed, it's going to be 2 votes for Proper, but I would like to see, King Memphis come away and then, it'll be race on. Right, semi-final number 2, 807 at Hove, Quids on the inside, 10s, Our Mystery 12s, Razzle Dazzle Barkley 12s, Dazzle Hermes 12s, because the big 2 are out wide here. Ballymac Kobe 5-4, and the defending champion, Newin Benny, at 5-4 as well. All action early, round the outside. I'm going to take a chance with Newin Benny. I just thought this was a nice draw. There's not bundles of early pace on here, but it is a picker, 5 and 6. I'm going with the stripes. What about yourself, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, it does look a pick-em. I mean, Newin Benny obviously stole the show in this event last year. He shows his very best form when getting off the front, and he's got a chance to do that. But I just thought Ballymac Kobe, he's capable of going toe-to-toe with 6 early, and just being drawn inside, I think he might get the better racing line out the second bend. And if he can hit the front, I think whoever's in front out the sprint boxes will probably win. So I'll just favour Ballymac Kobe.
Well, he'll probably win because I can never, ever get him right. But he was very impressive a couple of weeks ago over the 500 metres at Hove. I'm sure if connections could buy that break from him every time, he's a real handful. He's got a big engine. If he puts it together out the boxes, like you say, you'd expect him to clear the inside. So that one could be a good tussle there, but conflicting views from myself and Tony. Tony with the 5. I'm going with the defending champion in the stripes. Right, the third and final semi-final, 8-24. Missile 1, 6s, Golden Palace 25s, Gary the Arb 4, Queen Shakira 9-2, Ballymac Axel 10, and Slick Sentinel round the outside. Let's have a look at him then. Derby semi-finalist. Oozes class, start stays. He was in trap 6 here, 29.97. Ballymac Axel reopposes in 5. Quilquid's in trap 3. It's just a nice type, isn't it? When he does it right at the boxes, as he's going to get here, plenty of racing room.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jealous type as well. Like, he's a dog that I've seen smash away. They sort of come to challenge him, and he finds a little bit more. So he probably likes the hustle and bustle of a race as well. And I do like what Patrick done. He prepped his dogs for this event. He ran them a few weeks beforehand to get them familiar with Hove. I mean, Hove's a different beast now, Dave. I mean, they don't really smash the 30-second barrier anymore. Like, you dip in under 30 seconds, it's a hell of a run. Like, back in the day, you used to get like low 29, 40s, 50s. But you don't really get that frequently now.
No, yeah, that is for whatever reason. The track's been relayed, different traps, whatever. But I think gone are the days of like a Barnfield on air giving 29 seconds a shake. I'm not sure you're ever going to see that again. But yeah, I mean, he's a class act. If you told me he was a little bit shorter than what he is on offer, I'd believe you. But it's a good race. Gary the Arb, I thought, ran a massive race in defeat in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I think if six does get loose, then I think he'll oblige, and then it is a race for second. I think Missile One's got a chance of qualifying on the rails. I mean, Queen Shakira, she tends to show her best form when off the front. Gary the Arb's a dog that's proven over 4 and 6 bends. I mean, Golden Palace, he's a credit to connections. He runs his heart out in the face of some stiff tasks as the Golden Palace. But Missile One, I think he could be the fly in the ointment at 6-1. But I think 6, in his current mood, is the dog to beat without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, that man, Seamus Kyle, you wouldn't rule against him, would you? When the big racing's on down on his own patch on the south coast at Hove, his dogs always perform. So Tony give it a chance for Missile One to qualify there, but 2 votes for Slick Sentinel. That's the Sussex Cup and Regency both wrapped up. You better watch that, of course, live on the PGR service on Saturday night on their website or behind the red button on Sky Sports Racing. Right, Thursday night, big race double header. The stars are out in the northeast. We're going to look at the 2 big finals. Up first, of course, ladies' night first at Newcastle. £7,500 Arena Racing Company, Angel of the North, the Oaks of the North, if you like. The bitches on show here. 9.11, 480 metres. Let's have a look at them then. Killerford Hannah 9-2, Bluebell Teddy 12s, Copy Sapphire 11-8, Skier Josie 10s, Bogger Darling 14s, and Domino Hoo at 11-4 in the stripes. How do you see it? I mean, there's the favourite here, Copper Sapphire. I think you'd do well to argue against her being the fastest in the race. It's just a case of if she gets a run, right?
Yeah, I think that'd be opening that Kennelmate Bluebell Teddy gets a decent start again and 3 can get a toe into the race rather than 2 miss it and they meet at the wrong point. I mean, Domino Hoo-Hoo's been made a decent start to her career. Killerford Hannah's been flying, running well in success and defeat, but I just think 3 it's that first 2 bends. If you can turn them unscathed, I think you'll be in business if you're with 3.
Yeah, stays the trip very, very strongly. I think 6 is going to run a big race here. Brilliant draw for the stripes, but 2 votes for Copy Sapphire there. Right, let's move on to the feature race then. The 9.28 at Newcastle on Thursday. £12,500 the winner. It is the Time Northern Flat final. And it is 11-4 the field for a Cat 1 final. This is wide open. Droopy's Bookham on the inside, who we've heard from bookmakers in the Racing Post this week. They're out to get this one. 11-4. Nokra 4-1. Slingshot Shaz 11-2. Hardwick Mighty 7s. Unanimously on 5. And Deliveroo at 11-2. He was a Derby semi-finalist, the top here, Tony. He came into this anti-post favourite. He's still the favourite now, but the market and what we're hearing from the layers is he might be a bit vulnerable here. What about yourself?
Yeah, well, it tells you how wide open it is. I think if you shot the round, I think it's 102% book. So there's clearly layers want to take on certain dogs in this particular final. I put Droopy's Bookham up at the beginning. I'm going to stick with him, but again, I've mentioned it previous week. He ain't doing no fast times. It's like, where's the 28, 20s, 30s in Droopy's Bookham? I mean, it doesn't matter if he's winning races. It don't matter what time you're doing. But it's just a strange one that he ain't putting up any flashy times on home soil. Unanimously, and he deserves to probably win a big race. He's got to numerous finals for connections, but he's going to have to do everything right from that draw. Deliveroo's got a potentially good make-up, but I'm just going to stick with Droopy's Bookham, Dave, because you know he stays well. A scrappy race plays into his hands, and I think the make-up on the rails is helpful rather than a hindrance. So in a race where you can run it numerous times and get a different result, I just think Droopy's Bookham can hopefully produce his best when it matters.
Give us a prediction of the SP of Droopy's Bookham.
I think this could be a free-to-field race, to be true. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he don't even go off favourite. I mean, Deliveroo's probably big at 11-2, being the sole wide. So, yeah, I think it could be... you could go 3-7-2 to field and be happy to field 2 or 3, 4 dogs, Dave, and have the other 2 running for you.
Well, I'm going to go with Droopy's Bookham as well on the inside. You don't fluke your way to a Derby semi-final. And you know what I'm going to say, Tony, as well. Only worry about time when you're doing it. So he uses class. Listen, I'm hoping Free can get the job done. Price-wise selection, we went 2 points each way at 16-1. Not without a chance. And the Fairburn camp, of course, after the tragic loss of Slingshot Sam after the opening round, would be a fitting winner. So that is an absolute belter of a Northern Flat final. But myself and Tony, we are going to plumb for the favourite at the moment, but might not be favourite on the night. Droopy's Bookham with that good draw and the big engine. Right, it is that time. Best bets of the week. Tony Bullen, open race correspondent at the Racing Post. Where are we off to this week for the nap?
Yeah, I'm going to be at Newcastle on Thursday, so all open race card, and there's a Ditches final running alongside separate to the Angel of the North, and Coppice Gracie was beaten in the first round, but that was her first competitive start for a long while. She did the damage early, but just couldn't repel the strong running Droopy's niece. Now she's had that race under her belt, she's going to strip a lot fitter. I think she wins the early battle comfortably. I mean, 4 and 5 are devoid. She should lead these a minute, and I don't think she gets fetched in this time around, Dave. So Coppice Gracie, 7:44 Newcastle on Thursday.
Well, it'd be a great story, wouldn't it? After being off the track for almost a year and a half, nursed back by Jimmy Fennick and his team. She gave the hint, didn't she, last week? So Tony plumbing for her to get the job done, 7:44 on Thursday night. I'm going to go Saturday, Hove. All the stars are out on show over 4 bends and 6 bends. There's also a couple of stars out over 2 bends. And Ballinakill Liam in the 8:59. We might get a bit of a price about him. He's been turned over a couple of times, but he's got a lovely draw here. He switches down to Hove. I don't think he'll mind the change. He'll love the long run to the turn. He goes in trap 5 in the 8:59, and he will do for me. I think it'll be a big night for champion trainer Mark Wallace, and that will be one of his winners, Ballinakill Liam. Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure as ever. Do get involved with us here on Off the Leash. Drop a comment below. Remember to like and share if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. Enjoy the ground racing. Gamble responsibly. And we'll see you next time.